Hi there, Crimson Cult, and today we're taking a little turn on the highway and looking into music as opposed to cinema. Something I've been wanting to do for a while, and hopefully you enjoy this. We're going to be looking at an album, as you can see right there on the screen, a perennial classic from 1984, arguably the best year in rock music, in my opinion, and that is Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA." Now, "Born in the USA" was a follow-up to "Nebraska," which was a highly successful album and one that Springsteen felt very strongly about. He felt at the time that this was the strongest written work that he had done. Now, it took 2 years to produce Born in the USA. It went on from January of 82 to March of 84. It was recorded at Power Station Studios, and 80 tracks altogether around were laid down. At the end of the day, 12 would be used. It would be a very successful album, but to Springsteen, it was unsure at the time. Basically, he felt that this was weaker in songwriting than the stuff he'd put on Nebraska. And some critics felt that it was very tonally different, where Nebraska seemed to be a more darker album. But if you really listen to Born in the USA, as much as it seems like there's an upbeatness to a lot of the songs, there is some downbeatness. There is some Nebraska style to it, especially in songs like My Hometown and Glory Days. The album would chart number 1 here in Canada in 1984, number 37 in the UK, and number 28 on the US Billboard Top 200 charts. It would eventually go 3 times platinum. Springsteen would be backed up by the E Street Band, which included incredible guitar work by Stephen Van Zandt, Gary Talent, and of course the incomparable Clarence Clemons on sax and percussion. The album itself was mixed by Bob Claremont, who worked on everything from Bryan Adams' Cuts Like a Knife to the Hall & Oates classic album Big Bam Boom. Born in the USA itself was nominated for Album of the Year in 1984 in the Grammys, but would lose out to Lionel Richie's Can't Slow Down. And I no hate to any Lionel Richie fans, but that still blows my mind to this day. Now, aside from being his most successful album, Born in the USA would also open the doors to a whole world of heartland rock. It would legitimize it and bring it kind of into the mainstream. It had been there, it had been around before, but this really brought it out into the forefront. And you'd see albums by people that were known for that, like John Mellencamp, Tom Petty, and Bob Seger become more mainstream successful due to this. Now, in 1985, Mellencamp dropped Scarecrow, which is an excellent classic album and a great companion piece alongside Born in the USA. But I would go with Aha, which was the album that he did previously to this as my go-to Mellencamp album, and the one that I listened to alongside Born in the USA. Aha has always resonated with me, and the Authority song has always been one of my personal perennial anthems in my life. As for the album cover, as you're seeing on here right now, over the years it would become controversial. Now, Annie Leibovitz was an incredible photographer, did the artwork for this album cover. Now, some will say them super jaded people would go on to say, put around this whole theory of it's Springsteen urinating on the flag. Nothing could be farther from the truth of it, actually. Some actually went out and kind of changed the album cover with having Springsteen kind of jumping with his guitar with the flag so that people wouldn't get the wrong idea. But Springsteen himself would go on to state, at the end of the day, he thought that his ass was preferable to his face on the cover of the album. I personally think that the album cover is kind of evocative of Heartland rock and the look of the people that come from the Heartland. I'm from Newfoundland, and I come from an area, a small area where we have a lot of jeans and T-shirts and the cap in the back of your in the back of your jeans. It's an iconic image. It's something that evokes a certain memory for certain people, and for me specifically. Now, although Springsteen thought that this album was weaker, audiences and critics would vehemently disagree with that. The album, as of 2012, when I looked it up, had sold over 30 million copies and was his most successful album to date. Definitely his most successful mainstream album. Many people think of it as one of the greatest albums of all time, and if I didn't think that as well, I wouldn't be doing this video here right now. There's 12 tracks on the album, 7 of which went to the top 10. What blows my mind away is how many really great tracks are on there. We've got Born in the USA, which premiered in 1984, hit number 11 in Canada, number 9 in the Billboard Hot 100. We have Cover Me, which hit number 10 in Canada and 7 in the U.S. Billboard. We got Darlington County, Working on the Highway, Downbound Train, I'm on Fire. I remember that one actually premiered on TV. I remember seeing it on Video Hits, was a show that came on here in Canada. It was number 12 in Canada, number 6 in the U.S. Then we got No Surrender, another fantastic classic song, followed by Bobby Jean, I'm Going Down, Glory Days, one of my personal favorites on here. Hit 17 in Canada, should have been number 1 in my opinion, and number 5 in the U.S. Dancing in the Dark, the one of course which has the famous Friends star on there. Look it up, because if you don't know, you're gonna know right away. Number 3 in Canada, number 2 in the U.S. Biggest hit on the old album, and one that really resonates with me alongside Glory Days is My Hometown. I do tend to, like, if I go on YouTube and I'm looking at like these videos and songs, I do tend to listen to Glory Days followed by My Hometown, and then I'm on Fire. Dancing on My Hometown hit 16 in Canada and 6 in the US, which is a real shame. The album itself charted extremely well, going 3 times platinum, and would be a classic album for years to come. It would have Born in the USA, which to many people is considered a rock anthem, but it really tells the story of the times and the downtrodden, and it just resonates with a lot of people on many different levels. Now, some people go for albums like Born to Run as Bruce Springsteen's best, and I would say that's definitely something you can debate. But for me, the era that I grew up in, the time that I was listening to music, at the key point, focal point for me was right here. And 1984's Born in the USA album was something that always stood out to me, always resonated with me, and it's one that I had on constant rotation right alongside of my John Cougar Mellencamp. Because here's a controversial statement. I'm going to end out a controversial statement. Born in the USA is great, but for me, is the great Heartland album, followed by Scarecrow. We'll talk more about music in the future, and hopefully you enjoy this video and want to see more of it. Either way, please let me know. I'm Aaron, and this is the Cult of Cinema, where we dive into a little bit of the cult of music, especially the 80s music, because that's my favorite era, and I'll talk to you again soon. For now, thank you so much. Hope you've enjoyed this diversion and this little kind of sidestep into what we normally do, and I'll see you right here again in the Crimson Cult.